Welcome to Ready, Set, Collaborate with Wanda Pearson. This is where ideas spark, connections grow, and collaborations fuse success. Tune in for inspiring stories, expert insights, and game-changing conversations. Let's build, connect, and thrive together. Remember, collaboration is the key to success.
Welcome to the Ready, Set, Collaborate podcast with Wanda Pearson. Today, we're taking you behind the scenes of one of the most exciting collaborations I've ever been part of. What started as a book about forgiveness is now becoming something much bigger, a living digital experience designed to guide readers through an interactive journey of healing, reflection, and transformation. Today, I am joined by my creative partner, Marianne Bailey, who is helping bring this vision to life. So most people think a book is just the end of the journey, but we believe it's just the beginning. I just want to make sure that I told Marianne I wanted her to be on my podcast to really show what she has actually created here. And I'm glad I'm the guinea pig, Marianne, right? So,
Yep. Hi, everybody.
no, I
Glad
appreciate
to
it.
be co-hosting this with you today.
Absolutely. So today we're talking about my book, Forgiveness, Walking in Freedom with God's Grace, and how our collaboration became much more than a companion website. Today, we created a living digital experience where readers continue exploring forgiveness through reflection, guided exercises, videos, resources, and ongoing encouragement. But this conversation is more than just one book. So we're going to explore how authors, businesses, nonprofits, and entrepreneurs are rethinking the way they connect with people. How do I create an experience people want to come back to? So we're going to discuss all of that with Marianne. But in the meantime, I want to welcome Marianne. I'm not going to read your bio, Marianne. So say hi to the audience, Marianne.
Hi, everybody. Marianne Bailey with Bailey's Business Solutions. And I am what they call a multipreneur. Yeah. I have the Hip Senior, because I know you guys have seen me on here for the Hip Senior with Wanda. And I have Bailey's Business Solutions. I have another job that I do. I'm all over the place. And then people might say she's scattered brain. She's doing so much stuff. And it's just like, no, I just have so much passion in me towards being able to help small businesses grow with where they're going and what they're experiencing and how people are experiencing them. But I also have this other side of passion for senior citizens and helping them get better placement in life with different businesses and stuff like that as well. And so kind of doing all of that, it just kind of fits all that need for me. So again, Marianne Bailey, Bailey's Business Solutions. Hi.
Yes. I am so glad I met Marianne because actually Marianne is my editor for my podcast. So that's how we got to know each other. Oh, about 3 years ago, Marianne?
We did. We met through another experience that wasn't so great, and we turned it around and made it into a really
Yes,
nice
we did.
friendship, and experience working together.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about your bio here.
Yeah.
So, welcome to today's conversation. I'm excited to introduce Marianne Bailey, as we said, the founder of Bailey's Business Solutions. Marianne isn't trying to build better websites. She believes the future belongs to living digital experiences that continue serving people long after they first discover them. Whether it's a book, a business, a nonprofit, a speaker, a coach, a training program, or even an idea waiting to be shared, Marianne helps transform static information into engaging experiences people return to again and again. And I really love that because what she created for me, and you're going to see the demo of that, I really love it. I mean, I've never seen this before in my life. So we got to get these authors to do this whole thing, Marianne. So that's something that we want to do. But no, thank you so much for being on the podcast. And
I'm thrilled to be here.
yes, thank you.
I'm not just on your podcast, Wanda. I'm helping host your podcast.
You're helping host it. That's right.
This is a co-host experience this time. So
Yes,
we
it
are
is. Yes,
very
it is.
glad that you're with us. And I know that we're reaching out to members of Wanda's audience as well as people in my audience as well. And thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Yeah. When she created this, I said, you know what? We need to do a podcast on this. We need to educate. And that's what I'm about, educating and empowering people. How do you educate and empower people? If people don't know that you have this, how are they going to know?
Yeah, and exactly. And we could have each done our own podcast, but we decided to pull into a Wanda's theory of collaborate, that special word of collaborating. And it all comes down to how do we help work with each other? How do we help serve each other? And how do we help make each other better in general? And that's
And
not for me and Wanda alone, right? That's for all of us in the world. So
all of us.
for what you will.
Like Mary said, collaboration is the key to success. That's my motto. That's my line that I usually say. So Marianne, you often say people are asking the wrong question when you ask for a website. when they ask for a website, what should they be asking for instead?
Often they don't know what they don't know until they know it, right? They go to a web designer and they're like, my business needs a website. And I found in my business that the hardest person to ask what they need in a website is the owner of the business because they're so tied to their dreams and hopes and stuff. But it's hard to design for yourself. It really is. It's hard for me to design for myself. It takes a lot of work for me to do. Like when I did Bailey'sBusinessSolutions.com, it was really hard. It was many renditions of, okay, I forgot this, or this is too much, or whatever the story may be, right? And you just don't sometimes you can't envision that scene. If you sit down and you talk to somebody and you say, "Okay, this is what I do for a living. This is what I bring to the table. This is the story that I'm wanting to tell." A good website designer, and by the way, I don't consider myself a website designer at all. Please, don't even call me that. Don't even if you just want a website, don't call me. It's not something that I do. I'm not a website designer. I'm an experienced designer, and that's different. But if they say, "I want a website," and they don't see it, they're not being listened to, right? Someone has to sit down and listen and say, "Well, okay, what are my hopes? What are my dreams? What is my vision for my business?" Not necessarily for your website, but what does your business encompass? And somebody that is really actively listening to them will be able to take that and say, "Oh, okay. Are we promoting a business, a book, a speech? What is it that we're doing with that?" Bring in information, whether it's your book, the actual book, right? You sent me the manuscript to your book, and we made what we did, which we're going to be showing in a little bit. So it's just encompassing of actively listening to people and saying, what does this person need instead of what does this person want? Because often you start down one road and that road changes. And that's what I tell people with businesses all the time. When you start a business, be prepared for that road to change. There's going to be potholes, there's going to be road closures, there's going to be detours, there's going to be all kinds of stuff. And sometimes the destination isn't where you thought you would be.
Absolutely. And you want to ask me a question, right?
I did. So we made a list just so that we wouldn't get sidetracked and go on one of those detours. Wanda, what inspired you to write your book? What was your vision in that?
Well, my journey, the concept of forgiveness was something that had been the cornerstone of my healing. By me writing my first book, God's Grace Through the Fire from Struggle to Triumph, going through abuse and not knowing how to handle that, it took me years to write this book, Forgiveness. I shared the deep challenges that I went through and I wanted other people to go through it, to not go through it, but to be able to heal from it, to be able to have their peace and their heart and their healing. It really starts with healing. But you know what, Marianne, the biggest thing is that we have to forgive ourselves first. We blame ourselves for so many things. And I never understood, why do I have to forgive myself? I didn't do anything wrong. But really what we're doing is we're holding on to that grief. We're holding on to that in our heart. And when I wrote this book, Forgiveness, Walking in Freedom to God's Grace, it was actually getting that freedom to release that unforgiveness in my heart. And like I said, it took me years because I thought I had forgiven, but I hadn't. And even today, we actually have to God, we have to actually forgive every day. You just never know when things come up and some of the words that we say, because our tongue is the biggest enemy. I tell you, things come out there, but you know, there's forgive me, God, forgive me, God. Even like driving on the highway, somebody cut you off. What do? You get mad, right? So it's really about facing what we have to face and how faith and perseverance that guided me through writing this book. So the book highlights about grace and helped me through turbulent times, which I went through turbulent times, but I wanted to go deeper into the power of forgiveness. That's why I wrote this book.
And sometimes people aren't ready to forgive yet, right? Like you have
Yeah.
to be ready to forgive. Just saying, "Oh, I forgive you," if you're not there yet, that
Yeah.
does a disservice to you as well as to the other person. Because if they think that you've forgiven them and you really haven't just because you've said it, neither one of you are being served with that either.
Absolutely. And that is so true because we may forgive, but we won't forget. When people constantly hurt you over and over again, and you say, okay, I just forgave you. Now you're doing the same thing that you did to me before. So it really is, that's when God comes into play because God has a way of helping us to move forward. And that's what we want to do. We want to move forward and not get stuck. A lot of
Right.
times we get stuck. And I noticed a lot, letting people know about my forgiveness book. A lot of people turn away because they're not ready to, if they don't want this book. 'cause it's
Go
not
where
yeah, they do. They really not. I was like, "Well, why are they running away from me?" But it really is. It has to be from you, from your heart to release it. And I tell you, when I did that, Marianne, I forgave my blessings started to flow because I realized that I held on to the unforgiveness in my heart with forgiveness, unforgiveness with my stepfather, with abuse, but also with corporate, how they did me. I didn't
Right.
understand why are they doing this to me. And it took a long time. But once I said, okay, let go, let God. And that's my word this year, Marianne. Let go, let God release. Release anything that's holding you back.
That is fair. Hey, Wanda, I think we're gonna skip over your next question because your next question I've already answered.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you another question.
Okay.
And that question is, as we were working together and when we started on this, how did you feel when you started seeing your book becoming a living experience? What did you like we're probably on rendition 3 or 4 at this point because we started out with some basic info and said, "Okay, this is what we can do, and these are the activities that we can do in your book." And
Mhm.
then we changed how those activities were correlated and the design and stuff, and then we went back and we added the latest one now, and you guys will see this in just a few minutes. I promise we're gonna get to it. We added brilliant, beautiful, colorful photos that really draw you into it. How did that make you feel?
Oh God, it made me feel great because when I looked at that, it was really real, surreal to see. I had to think about what do I want to release? And we're going to see your demo in a minute. But
Right.
releasing the fear, the hopelessness that we said, oh, I don't know. It's like you're holding on to it. But when I saw what you created, it made me feel great because then I was like, wow, this is really something. Because now I took it a step further from what I wrote my book and writing the book and having it actually put in front of you. It made you think about what you can do better to release that unforgiveness in your heart.
Right. I would imagine it's like some authors that are in the process of taking their books and making movies out of them, right? It's like
Mhm.
seeing something in front of you that you never dreamt would happen. And that's what we did with yours, right? We created a living
Yeah,
experience. With yours, there will always be updates. There will be added new projects or speaking engagements that you can sign up for or videos that you can watch.
yeah,
The sky's the limit, right? We can do anything with your
yeah.
living digital experience. We brought your book to life is what we did. It's
Mhm.
something that somebody is going to read, and then they're gonna go to the website, and then they are going to come back and they're gonna say, "Oh, wait, I maybe refer back to the book to look this up again." And then they're gonna go back to your experience again. And then anytime they have mixed emotions or feelings about stuff, they can go back and work through those feelings digitally on their screen in front of them over and over and over again.
Yeah, yeah. So I love it because I love the fact that once you put those in there and you put a what you're trying to release and then it just
It
disappears.
releases it.
Yeah, it just and take a deep breath. And it's something that was so real because when I did, I said, wow, this is great. Because then it took me further than my book that you can read, but now you actually feel the emotions that you're going through here. So I love it. And when we first started working together, we didn't talk about building a website. You talked about creating an experience. That is the experience that you did for me. And I
Yeah.
truly appreciate it. I'm excited because I really want to get this out to a lot more people, especially authors, because I'm part of an author group, to let them know that they can do more than just a book. And and as you said, I'm doing a lot of speaking engagements on forgiveness. This year is my forgiveness. So I've been doing quite a few speaking engagements on that.
That's nice. And that's one thing that I want to emphasize as well is like you don't just have to be an author to work with me. You can be a speaker. You could
Yeah.
be a coach. You could be a business owner of any type because everything out there has a story and it's a unique story just to you. And so is your living digital experience with us as well. No two are going to be the same. I'm not working from templates. I'm not repeating templates over and over again, creating something like, "Oh, we're just gonna change the colors and the logo of this one." That's not what we're doing. We're actually going in there, and I won't even build anything for you until I have sat down on Zoom with you face to face, and you've told me about your life, your business, your book, your talk, your whatever it is that we are gonna build for you. I wanna hear from you, how you feel about it, what your needs are, and what you envision something being. And if you can't envision it, that's fine. I'll envision it for you and design it for you, send you a prelim and say, hey, what about this direction? What do you feel? It's not something like it's one and done, right? We're going to work through it together. And like I said, 100% unique to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And then you're actually going to work with it because it's not just this one time, like it's not one and done, but you're actually going to be updating the website and
Yep.
creating the different changes that happen, right?
It's not a website though.
Not a website.
It's a
Living digital experience.
That's it. That's it. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
LDE.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple different versions, and we can talk about that after we demo it of what those versions include and don't include and stuff like that. But Wanda, while we're at it, let me go ahead and demo yours. Let's show everybody your gorgeous living digital experience.
Yes.
And hopefully you guys throw in the comments of this podcast, like, what do you think of it? Let us know. If there's something we could do better, we're always open to suggestions, or if you think of something we should do, we're happy to hear you and hear what you actually think of it, because Wanda's book is beautiful. Forgiveness is much needed in this world these days. And like I said, some of us, including me, aren't quite there yet, but I'm getting there. Working through her apps on her experience and stuff has helped quite a bit with that as well. In order for us to get started, I'm going to share my screen. And then we are going to go to Wanda's page. Wanda, so we are now on your site, which hosts the living digital experience that we created for you. And when you go to wdpearsonassociates.com, you see up here at the top, wait for a second, just a second, scroll just a teeny little bit, and this pop-up will show up. And this pop-up here is her experience. You ready? You ready, Wanda? Okay.
Ready.
So you click this begin your journey and ta-da, and you're going to come to this screen. Luckily, I'm on a different computer than I'm normally on. So this is acting like I've never been to her experience before, which is great because none of us have been, right? We are going to I'm going to type in Marianne. And it says, do you have Wanda's book? Yes, it's with me. No, it's not. So we'll just assume that you are finding Wanda. You're looking for ways of releasing energy and for experiencing forgiveness. And we're going to say, no, I don't have her book yet. So we're going to go with not yet. And then we're going to open the vault. So we're going to click on open the vault. And this is the main screen that you come to. Now, this is the desktop version that you're seeing since we're both on computers. It will size down for your phone. So if you're going to it on your phone, you'll get just as lovely of an experience on there as well. And then here is a dashboard for you. It tells you 0 things released, 0 chains broken, 0 stones lifted. You don't have to know what those mean yet because we're going to come to that. So when you scroll down, these boxes here, these cards are actually experiences and activities that you can take. These are actual cards that you can experience. They're actual activities. The first one here is the Freedom Vault. And look at these beautiful graphics that we've created with this. It makes you want to jump through that vault, right? And experience what's in that light, what's there for me. And so we are going to go in there. And when it does that, it comes to the screen. And the screen doesn't look like much here, but it's huge. It really is. So when you click on name a burden, it will come up with different things that you can choose. Or choose one or name your own. Naming is the first step to releasing it. So are you angry? Are you resentful? Do you have shame? Do you have guilt? Are you dealing with childhood trauma? There's all kinds of things. And you don't have to just be one thing, right? We can come back to this over and over and over. So want to pick one. Because I suffer from all those.
I know. I actually did all of them, really.
Yeah.
But let's pick fear. Let's do fear.
Okay. So we choose fear. And then it says, what happened? You can write it or simply hold it in your mind and continue. And then you just type in, I was scared of living life to its fullest. I don't know. You can write whatever your fear is. Snakes, life, emotional, whatever it is that encompasses you. Now, keep in mind, only you are seeing this. Nobody else is reading this. We're not watching behind the scenes. We haven't, if you notice, other than your name, and that's only because some of the things address you by your name, we don't capture your name We don't capture your email address or any of that stuff. This is all private and held exclusively on your own screen. So feel free to type whatever is in your heart.
Mhm.
So as I'm fullest, continue. How has been carrying this affected your life? And we could say was scared to apply to work for certain businesses. I don't know.
Mhm.
But anyway, it could be anything, right? And then
Right.
you hit continue. How long have you been holding this? 5 years, all my life, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And then what would freedom feel like? And again, sentences, you can type as much as you need to release this from your heart. Kind of like journaling, right? But it's just releasing it so that it's whatever. And then aren't I fancy with my words today, Wanda? And then
Yeah.
you just say, I am ready, and then watch what happens.
Mhm.
Okay. Fear, you have looked at this honestly. Now you do not have to hold it anymore. It's giving you permission to release that fear, is what it's doing, right?
Mhm.
And then we're just going to say release to God. Hmm.
And it just releases. That's
And
what I love about this.
yeah.
This is great. And like you said, you can put as much as
Yeah.
you want.
You can go in here and choose other ones, right?
Yeah. So so this is actually according to my book. So everybody has a different book, and that's what Marianne with her business. And she asked you those questions when you do decide you want to do this. It would be according to what you want it to be, right, Marianne?
100%. We would never ever reuse any of these graphics. We would never use the same experiences. The experiences are literally built solely around your book or
Mhm.
your business or whatever it is that we're designing for. So yours would never look like this at all.
Yeah.
Different.
Well,
Um,
I love the words though. I give
yeah.
myself permissions to heal and the graphics that you have it walk free. And it's all about like with my book, Walking in Freedom through God's grace. So I love this.
Now, the one restrictive thing that we do have with these apps like this is that if you open the same one on your phone, it's starting over again. So make sure, like, if you feel like you're going to be doing this over and over on your phone or on your computer, that's where you open it up. You can do it over again, but it will, if you keep it, like, say, on your desktop or your laptop computer and you open your browser again, you go back to the site, it will keep track of it on there. But if you switch to a different device, then it starts over.
Okay.
Cleared your cookies or that kind of stuff, it would clear that. So if
Okay.
there's anything you want to keep or whatever and make sure that you never, ever, ever lose it, then maybe take a screenshot or email it to yourself, something like that.
Mhm.
And the reason being is that we created this way because we don't want to capture your information. We want this to be a healing, loving experience for you through Wanda's book, because she's literally giving this as a gift to people to help them continue experiencing her book in a different format.
Mhm.
So yeah, it gives you all this information, and then you can say, keep this as a keepsake, save this as a keepsake. And when you click on that, you can save that. That's one way of saving this. Like I said, saving it to your
Mhm.
desktop or your email or whatnot. And then you can just say, and see there, it downloaded it. And then you can just say, carry this with me. When you click on that, and then it brings you back to the main menu. But up here on that dashboard, it tells you you've released one thing. And you
Mhm.
can go in and release all of those and work through them and do it multiple times if you wanted. So then there's other things in here, and you're welcome to come in here and just go to wdpearsonassociates.com and experience this for yourself. There's no limit of how many times you can do any of these things. You can go in here and see the mirror. And then the mirror, the hardest person to forgive is the one in the mirror. Name
Mhm.
what you've held against yourself. Look at it with mercy, then receive grace and let go. We often do. I know I do. Don't you hold things against yourself, Wanda?
Oh yeah. I mean, forget these years whole thing. That's why I say you got to forgive yourself first. So no, definitely.
Yeah. And when you click on that, it tells you mistakes we've made, words we've said, choices that we have made, letting someone down. There's all kinds of things, right? And so we can click on one of these, and then what have you been blaming yourself for? And like I said, you can put in as little or as much of this as you want. Type these in. I'm not going to waste your time typing in more words. And
Mhm.
then just say, I am ready. And then failing myself, you would offer grace to someone you love. Offer it now for yourself. receive grace and release. And when you click on that, again, it releases the energy, releases what you're holding against you. So it goes through that. Now, the other ones are, if you click up here on the menu, you can also get to these as well, by the way. But when we scroll down, we can say close with a word of freedom. It's always fun to go to this because it gives you this beautiful screen and it gives you information and another message. You can speak, I am on a journey to peace. And then you
Information.
can carry this with me.
Mhm.
And then you're back and now you're at 2 things released. So it just kind of keeps track. There's like you can write a letter to yourself and release it. This one breaks the chain. This one's kind of unique. And I love this about your book.
Yeah.
This one goes, some things were handed down, they stop with you. So
Mhm.
how many times have we said, like, if I could just change my family tree? And a lot of us say that monetarily, but so many of us should be saying that with emotional distress, right? Things that we need to forget. So
Absolutely.
when we go in here, it comes down here, and this is where you're at. My children, grandchildren. And then somebody suggested that we include siblings in this, but that was a whole other chain. So what we
Yeah.
did was we did that, but watch what happens. So we go in here, people pleasing, right? And then it says,
Mhm.
I have brothers or sisters who carry this too. We added that because I thought, yeah, that's an important part, but how do we work that into that, right?
Yeah.
So it's a matter of just saying like what is the need and how do we adjust for what people feel is important in their experiences here. So if you choose that, then it adds siblings over here. And then you can work through that as well. And so
I love that because I
yeah.
actually went through all of them, but I missed that one there. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, see here when we work through that and then it
Yeah.
said it broke that chain there.
Yeah.
Pray this for them and then we can create a new legacy, peace. And then it goes through that. So again, there's so many things on your page to work through and it says one chain broken. Like I said, there's what 15 in there that you can go through and do
Mhm.
stuff. So then there's a suitcase that releases a stone and it takes the burden off of you is what that was. I'm gonna leave that for you guys to go discover for yourselves and experience. But then also the gathering place, right? So when we go to the gathering place, this is where Wanda's messages for you are. It's whether she's having a podcast episode that relates to her book or whether it's one of her talks that have been recorded or upcoming events. That's where all this stuff is going to be listed. And you can even go to her social media on here and stuff. So the gathering place, which I love this picture as well.
Yeah.
And in here, so you don't have to keep scrolling to find something. If you click on this top menu up here and
Mhm.
you can say, okay, I want to see upcoming events. So it'll show you these. You can join the wait list if there is one. You can add it to your calendar. You can invite somebody,
Yes.
share the information with them.
Yeah, definitely. Because I am having a retreat on September 20
Nice.
at 10 a.m. and you did have that in there. So yeah,
Yep.
yeah, so no, I would love for people to join me there and
Right.
invite them like with this.
And
So
this is part of the collaboration though, right?
mhm.
It's Wanda taking responsibility for her part of this and letting me know, okay, there's going to be events coming up and forwarding things to me and letting me know, hey, I want to get this out on there. This is a podcast I did. Please share this on my experience. I've got a retreat coming up. Please share that on my experience. Like she's taking ownership and responsibility. This
Yeah.
isn't one-sided. It's not free for Wanda, but all she has to do is forward things to me and boom, we're on it. They're on here. Up and ready to go, sharing them out, getting the information out there, right?
Mhm.
So again, and then stay close. Again, there's never miss gathering. You can add to be part of Wanda's mailing list. And then there's just so many ways. And then
Yeah.
um, the most important part of her experience along with this is making sure that you have a way of getting her book
Yes.
because it holds so much more information than an experience could hold. This kind of continues the story, but you got to start out with this book as well. And sometimes I get it. Sometimes I get it. Sometimes maybe we can't afford the book right away and but we're waiting till next paycheck and that we're working through some of those apps until we can afford that. But I definitely recommend getting Wanda's book and working through on your journey to forgiveness. And so when you click on this, it takes you to her order form, and
Yes.
you can order it on here. And what happens when they order their book through your thing instead of saying going to Amazon or somewhere?
You get an autographed copy. I actually personally autograph it to you, and I will send it to you along with like my other little gifts that I give with it. I have a bookmark with it. So that's your personalized copy from me to be able to keep in touch and to be able to give me your feedback on my book. So no, this is I tell people, yeah, you can order from Amazon, but you're not going to get an autographed copy. You're not going to get the other things that I include with the book. So
Okay.
yeah,
And so maybe this is something that someone who needs to be able to forgive people, and the holidays are coming up or there's birthdays involved or whatnot. Go on here and order a personalized one for them through Wanda, and Wanda will send it directly to them, signed with all her extra goodies. And I'm sure you'd be willing to put a name on there that this is from so and so, right, Wanda?
absolutely. It's personalized to who I should write it to.
Right.
No, absolutely.
So, yeah, it's a great way to show somebody that you're supporting them in their journey. And we all have journeys. We all have to learn about forgiveness. And
Yeah.
like I said, sometimes there's people that you just don't know what to buy for. Maybe this is it.
This is it. Yeah, I had a person, it's funny, at my book launch, she bought it for herself, but she also bought it for her teenagers. Her teenagers just needed to have this book. So she bought like 3 copies just to get them to, because what's in this book also, Marianne, it's a journal. After each chapter, it's a journal for you to go along with my journey. You can write down what you like with releasing. Like here's one chapter reflection prompt. Like how do you reflect on this chapter that I wrote? Or overcoming challenges of forgiveness. So this is like different chapters that I have here that I want you to be able to release. And this is why this is so timely, Marianne,
Right.
because in my book, it's really telling you what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind regarding forgiveness. And that's really what it's about here. I gave this to all my grandkids. My grandkids have this book. And the one that enjoyed it the most is actually my 16-year-old autistic grandson. He
Oh,
loved
nice.
he loved this book. He said, "I bought it." My it was funny because my 10-year-old granddaughter there in North Carolina, she was at my book signing. She said, "Nana," she said, "I told my teacher about this," and she said, and she's so funny. She said, "They all need this forgiveness book. This is a 10-year-old. They all need to read it."
How's the babes?
I'll tell you, it was so funny when she said that. I said, "Yeah, that's true." Because I mean, I do mentoring in the middle schools with girls, middle school. I mean, and it's about bullying, a lot of bullying that goes on in these schools. So this is something that actually, when I wrote this, it's not just about adults, but it's about every child but you gotta realize that you need it. You gotta realize
Right.
that you realize that you need forgiveness because it's hard. Yeah, it's hard, but at the same time, why mess up your blessings when you continue to hold it and get sick from it? Because unforgiveness actually causes sickness as well.
It
It's
adds to your stress levels, and we all know what stress does to your body
oh
and
yeah,
your
yeah,
joints and your heart and every single thing, including your soul and your heart. So
absolutely. No, it's and what you wrote for me is actually what I'm doing here. But like you say, you do it for others, but you work with more than authors. Who else benefits from you creating a living digital experience?
everybody. So literally, authors, if you've written a book to promote a speech, because think about it, a lot of authors don't write books just because they think they're going to get rich writing a book, because you don't.
Mhm,
There's very few people. Harry Potter author, we won't mention her by name. That's rare. That's a rare experience that something like that could come of that. And how many times did she write books, release stuff for that to even happen, right? So people just don't write books to get rich. They write books because it's either in their heart and they have to get that out some way. That's their way of expressing things, or it's because they're trying to promote a business or a speech or a talk,
mhm,
a TED talk, look back on their TED talk and to promote maybe business that's growing because of that, whatever the case may be.
mhm,
Businesses, if you're a small business, medium business, large business that doesn't necessarily have a website that's serving people, creating something that's living and breathing and changing and evolving. I mean, there's ways of creating websites so that it addresses the person when they come, and then it remembers like where they left off and what they haven't done and stuff like that. So making things that are showing people what you're really about and that you're in the year 2026, 2027, 2028, whenever you're watching this video, and that
Yeah.
you're growing and evolving and you're living life and you're serving the needs of people that are doing business with you, listening to you, or following you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And we talk about artificial intelligence, right? AI.
Yeah.
It's changing everything. How do you see it helping authors, businesses, nonprofit, and speakers connect with people in more meaningful ways? And I think this is one of the ways.
This is 100% of one of the ways. AI is a double-edged sword, but we've said that about every technology thing that came out. Remember 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I don't remember what year the internet came out. It was a while back. When we started out with messaging boards and AOL and stuff like that, and people were like, "Oh, people are gonna be on their computers all night long," and I was for the longest while.
Me
Uh,
too.
when it was dial up and people couldn't get through to me and they didn't know that I was on AOL, they would
Yeah.
show up at my door going, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
But we've all said that, right? Like, "Oh, email, people aren't gonna send letters anymore." Well, no, but imagine they still do, but imagine if it's something really important. Now they've got it in 2 seconds versus 2
Mm-hmm.
weeks sometimes, right? Or they're saying the internet's just a fad. Remember that story? And I think that's kind of become now is like, oh, AI is just gonna be a fad. I do think that there needs to be some stricter restrictions on some things on a much higher level than what you and I deal with
Mm-hmm.
on some things. That's a whole different subject. But I think that for businesses and authors and people in general, that it's a way of it being able to get the meaning out there, to express their story better, to change the lives of people, not only business owners, but the people that they're trying to reach in ways that we couldn't before. Because I use AI to develop a lot of this. And the biggest part of that though is my vision for it. AI is not creating your vision for this. This is my brain creating this for you. So we're still using our brains. We're still developing things. We just need to do it in a respectful and responsible way. People that are just writing books that are 100% AI. Maybe instead of doing that, maybe putting out, okay, this is what I had in mind. This is what I dreamt of. Help me put together a guideline that I could help follow and then write things. And then if you don't speak good English or you don't write well or stuff like that, maybe, or your grammars, you've forgotten all the grammar rules, run it through AI to touch it up, to base it. But the majority of the work needs to be authors.
Yeah. Yeah.
All part of using AI responsibly, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Because AI does help you. I mean, it took a lot off my plate as far as what I do, but it has to come from your heart, from your passion, because then people really appreciate,
We
you know.
connect with people on a heart level.
Yeah, at heart level, exactly.
You and I, we connect because our hearts are genuine and kind and loving, and we don't when people say horrible, nasty things out in the world these days, or even I've had people recently saying some horrible things to me that were unjustified. I'm blown away because my heart just doesn't register that. I'm like, I could never dream of talking to somebody or doing something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah.
AI is a tool, but we still need to put meaningful, heartfelt connection in with people in the world in order for that to really evolve and to become part of our story.
Absolutely. It's about compassion, being
Yeah.
compassionate to one another. And a lot of times in this world today, there's not that much compassion in this world today.
There is not.
Yeah. So, and that's
But
where forgiveness comes into play.
yeah,
People don't want to forgive. They want to just keep rattling
fueling the flames, yeah.
on. So, no,
But, you
this,
know,
this,
but the thing, Wanda, is the part about AI is that, I mean, like we said in the beginning, I am not a website designer. Because of AI, I can create a website
mm-hmm.
and I can create living experiences for people. But it's my vision that brings that together. And again, that's what people need to not forget is using their brains and being part of this. Not everybody would know how to go into AI to do this or to experience this. Most people are using ChatGPT for asking questions. Why is the sky blue? You know, where do I do this? Or how do I fix this recipe? Whatever the case may be. And that's perfectly great for those who need that. But if you need
Mm-hmm.
the next level up and you're doing stuff and it's not always It's not always gonna work the first time. Sometimes AI gets it wrong.
Mhm.
Sometimes it doesn't see your vision. Sometimes you have to massage your words some and make things work for you. So it's just a matter of connecting. That's why I don't design anything for anybody without having a one-on-one conversation, just like you and I are having right now.
Right.
And if it's something that I don't think that I would be very good at, if I don't understand your business, there's going to be avenues that we're going to go down. Either I'm going to learn more about your business, or I'm going to tell you this is something I cannot do with you and I'm not going to take your money, because I definitely want people that I'm working with to be happy with what they end up
Be
with.
happy,
Like,
right, exactly. But no, this has been great. I appreciate you, and we got a couple more questions here. So here's my question to you. So writing a book takes courage. Looking back
mhm.
on the journey, what advice would you give someone who has a message on their heart but hasn't taken the first step?
I think that's a message that both of us can answer, right? Like,
Mhm.
what is your first step? What was your first step, Wanda?
My first step was actually, and I'm gonna tell you, I said I would never write a book. Would never write. Because who want to read my book? But then I realized when I started writing it, it had to get out there. My editor at that time, she said, Wanda, you got to get this book out there. And I wanted to share because that's social work in me.
Mhm.
I wanted to share what I went through because I'm going to tell you, Marion, I buried things so deep inside that I didn't realize I forgot about it. But it was when God said, okay, Wanda, it's time for you to release this book. It actually took a lot of courage because then I had to open up myself. Open up my fears, open up the truth and how I felt about things, and then I realized that a lot of people are going through the same thing. That journey that I went through was helping me to be able to let go, and once I let that go, it actually helped me to be able to release the bitterness, like all of the things that says release in the app.
Yeah.
Release the bitterness, release the fear, because I had fear. What are people gonna think about me? Just like when I was in corporate. Oh, what are people gonna think about me if I say this? Oh, I better not say this. So it's a lot of things that held me back from expressing myself. But once I started writing, I mean, actually, I wrote this book after my mother died. I cried for a while because I said, I don't know, because I had some of my family members in there. I didn't know how they was gonna take it. But at the same time, I knew I had to get this out here. And that's really why I started the journey of writing the book. And now I wrote my 2 book, but I'm up to my 7th book that I said I would never write a book.
I think part of forgiveness is regret as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
And so if you think that there is something that you should be writing about, think about, how am I gonna feel in a year, in 5 years, at the end of my life, whatever that magic number could be for you, and you probably don't know what that number is until till you've
Right.
lived it. But what is that number? What is that message going to say to me in that period of time? Am I gonna regret that I didn't write that book? Am I gonna regret that I didn't start that legacy project? Am I gonna regret that I didn't start that business? Whatever it may be. When I was a kid, my mom, probably when I was a teenager old enough to understand it, my mom used to say, in 5 years from now, you're still gonna be 5 years older. You might as well continue learning within that 5 years. So is that going back to college, which I went back to college. I was married for 20 years and then got divorced, went back to college, got a degree in digital marketing and communications. And at the end of those years, I was still that many years older, but I knew more. And it also showed me how much that I did know about that subject, just simply because all the instructors were looking at to me for answers during these classes. And but it was affirming to me that I had found what I was supposed to do with my future. And again, you never know, right?
Yeah.
Wanda, what's your next book? Have you started it?
No. Well, I did. Actually, I did. I actually just wrote 2 collaboration books that actually came Overcoming. And a book I wrote on with the collaboration is Overcoming. It was actually close to what I was writing, forgiveness. Overcoming everything that I've dealt with in my life. And then my other book. So yeah, I did write those in May. I forgot about that. So I'm up to
Mhm.
for somebody who said I would never write a book and I would never do another collaboration book, never say never, because
Right?
that's a plan for you. So I'm waiting for you, Marianne, to write your book. You got a story. Everybody has a story. Yeah, we don't think about it, but everybody has a story. And I was told to actually, and I was doing this already anyway. I was writing in my journal. Whenever I got upset or whatever, I started writing things down. And I didn't know why, but it was for a reason. because God had me start writing down what my thoughts were. And that actually helped me release a lot of things that I was hurt from. Even like being married for 45 years, that's not an easy task. But even like when I got mad at my husband, I would write down how I felt and it released, just like God, the app that you wrote released those different feelings that you had. And I
Right.
felt better. So
We were talking about different ways of using AI and being responsibly using it. But you just mentioned that, like, you were journaling, right? That's
mhm,
think about it. If I also want to preface this by there's a difference between using free AI and paying for AI. A lot of the messaging behind that is not that I'm saying you need to give up your money for
mhm,
AI, but
mhm,
if you choose to, I think your information is held more privately to your account than being used to train other AI models for things. So if you're going to do this, I preface it by saying please have a paid version of ChatGPT.
yeah, me too.
First of all, if you scan anything financial, make sure that you save it as a PDF and you cut off all your information. You crop it down so that you're not sharing your private address, account number, anything like that. If
Right.
but back to journaling, let's go backwards. But back to journaling, if you scanned in your journal, and you can do that easily with an iPhone or an Android phone. You can open up Google Drive and make PDF documents really easy. If you need help, let me know. But you can scan in your journal and then say, okay, I want to write a book based on this journal. How do I organize it into chapters? Because we all know that if you're writing, you're not linear in writing. You could be all over the place. You could be grieving the death or a breakup. For instance, told you I was married for 20 years, dated the same guy for 13 years, and some of my family gets mad at me for still grieving. And I said, "Well, good grief. First of all, it was 13 years of a relationship of
Mhm,
somebody that I truly loved.
right.
And just because I'm not done grieving isn't linear. You go back and forth. So if you're writing a journal, a lot of people get hung up on this, right? Because they're like, how do I take what's in this journal and make a book out of it? Or a blog or whatever it is in your way of writing. And if you scan those in, you can then ask AI, like, I want to write a book about using this information. Help me create an outline of chapters that I should write about and what parts of this would fall within those. And then still be the one that's writing that information,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
allowing it to help you get organized in what you're doing.
You know what, Marianne? And actually, honestly, started. So I guess that's my next book. I actually have a journal that I've created. I just haven't finished it because I finished my Forgiveness, Walking in Freedom to God's Best. I said, wait a minute, I actually have that. So that's my next book, a journal. As far as different, I'm an affirmation queen. That's what I actually, when I mentor, I love affirmations. And
Right.
in my book, I have affirmations, chapter on affirmations. So, but no, that's my next project is journal.
Is this like a blank journal? Like,
No, it's not a
what are you
blank
doing?
journal. It's not a blank journal. It's actually even like a calendar, like a 30-day what you need to do, and put your thoughts in here, and how do you do it, and then I put a Bible verse in there as far as the affirmation. So, yeah, it was something that I start doing. I'm gonna let you know about that when I look back at what I did, but it was almost done.
Well, that brings me back to your app though. When that's done, let's add that to your living digital experience. But if are an author and you've got multiple books, we can work that into it. Now, it's probably going to cost a little bit more because we're dealing with how do we work those in? Do they have individual activities that each of these follow? Is it one and then we say here you can find this author's books? But if you're in different genres or different stuff, like I said, that's a conversation that would be had between us and figuring out what that's going to look like for you, for each individual
Yeah.
person. But yeah, we could definitely add that to your experience when it's done. Probably go back in and add your collaborative books to this as well
Oh yeah.
and see
Yeah.
what we're gonna do with that.
Yeah, I do. I have to give that to you. So I do have
Yeah.
my collaborative books in there, my last two. No, I appreciate it. This has been really awesome, our conversation. So tell people how to get in touch with you because I know you wrote mines, but now I want you to share them to share with you how you
Yeah.
can help them.
So I will put down in the podcast notes for us, but if you go to baileysbusinesssolutions.com, you will see all the living digital experiences that we have created. There are ones on there that are for different books. Diane Reynolds' book with glimpses that is a legacy project to her father that we created. Hers is really fun to go through as well. Check that out. And this is on there. There's one that will teach you Spanish. There is one that's called Partridge. If you're an author and you are a fiction author, that book is really fun to go through. It's got a record player. It's got a game in there. It's got all different kinds of things that it's just kind of a hodgepodge of things that I put for that book. It's an AI written book, so don't slam me for it. It's publicly acknowledged on there, but that's just a demo book for you to see like what we could possibly do with ideas for your book as well. And you can actually go through each experience on that site. You don't even have to leave that site to experience them live on there as well. And then there's a pricing page that shows, I mean, it's not a secret. We start at $3,500 and depending on what you need, but I try to keep it as close to that $3,500 as possible because I want people to be able to afford to do this. And then if you want us to host it, if you want me to update it, if you do all that stuff, that's $249 a month. It's a subscription-based service. And like I said, all you have to do is forward an email to me, shoot me a screenshot, whatever it is, and we just make it happen. That also includes SEO, AEO, which is AI intelligence, for AI to be able to find you, for SEO to be for the internet to be able to find you. It just does all the things for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, because Marianne's going to be doing that for me because I have a lot of other stuff to include in there and for her to upkeep it because I know I'm not going to learn how to do all that stuff. So let me give it to the expert. She's the expert in doing all this here. So
the other thing people can do, Wanda, is let me just throw this in there real fast. And I know we're running out of time here, but that we have the ability to white label things as well. So if you have an idea of something that you would like to white label, and by me doing that, if you don't know what that means, it means creating an experience that you want to sell to different businesses over and over. Maybe it's a childcare business, maybe it's a bookstore or something like that. Any type of business that you want to carry this, we can create this and then we actually design the experience for you and then we redesign it for each business that you sell it to with their logo, their coloring, their information. And then you get a big part of the sale for that, like the biggest part of the sale for that. We keep a very small part as well as updating those every month for them as well. We do that. And then we also do one-time experiences. So if you want me to design something for you and you want to host it and you want to take care of updating it or paying for frequent updates once a year or whatever the case is, we can work that into it as well. It's not black and white. There's definitely gray areas and different opportunities involved with this. So if you head to Bailey's Business Solutions, you'll see all those on there.
well, I appreciate that. And that's great because, and also with my website, which is wdpearsonassociates.com, go on there. And once you go on my website, because I actually do coaching as well, that my living digital experience will pop right up, which is exciting. It comes right up. And exactly what Marianne just went through on the demo, that's exactly what you would see. So I would love to connect with you and help you get your business, get everything set up the right way, but also to help you coaching with that forgiveness as well. I have a lot to offer, and it's just really getting out there and helping those people that really realize that they can use our services, both of our services, right? So
exactly. And be sure to follow us on social media. Wanda's going to be sharing updates to her living experience on there. I'm going to be sharing her updates as well and other people's that we create for Diane. And we're doing another one for a senior experience for a business out there that does that. More details to come about that. So by following us, you're also seeing updates for that as well. So
yes, definitely. So I invite you to come with us on this podcast. She's going to be on every podcast platform as well as YouTube to really look at this and see exactly what you can get from this. So we would love your feedback and to come with us on this journey. So this is the journey that we're going to. So we're living this living digital experience for you, right? We'll love your feedback as we continue building, creating a tool that helps people experience forgiveness in a deeper, more personal way. So Marianne, thank you so much for being on this podcast and choosing me to be part of your, what do you call it? Experience with my book on forgiveness.
you're part of my harem.
Yeah, I'm part of your harem. Getting us out, walking through the God space.
It's all part of being community, right?
Yes,
The other thing
absolutely.
is if you're listening to this on a platform, be sure to hop over to whether it's Wanda's or whether it's Bailey's Business Solutions. You're probably gonna find it on the Hip Senior because that's our parent company is the Hip Senior. Or check out our social media for the video as well because you can't see only hear, and this is definitely a visual experience on today's podcast. So you're going to want to go check out that demo, or like I said, head over to baileysbusinesssolutions.com and experience it for yourself, or go to Wanda's website at wdpearsonassociates.com and check it out there. There's so many places for them to find this, isn't there?
Yes, yes, absolutely. But Marianne, thank you so much for being on here, which we get, but I'm glad you did the demo. So yeah, definitely. If you listen to this on Spotify audio, but also it's going to be on YouTube to really see the experience and see it for yourself of
Yeah.
what this can do for you. So, but thank you so much for being on here. And once again, audience, make sure you connect with us, follow and like. Thanks again.
Thanks, Wanda. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
That wraps up another episode of Ready, Set, Collaborate with Wanda Pearson. I hope you found inspiration and valuable insights to help you build meaningful connections and successful collaborations. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, share, and stay tuned for more great discussions. Until next time, keep collaborating and making an impact.